Ever have those moments when you feel you're just bumbling your way through parenthood and you think to yourself, hey, a manual for the parenting job would be nice? The top 5 parenting tips of all time next on Speak Your Mind. Welcome to Speak Your Mind. I'm Dr. Carolyn Phelps, licensed psychologist with the Human Development Center. There are a lot of books out there offering parenting advice about how to handle the problems that kids present us, and certainly we need to know how to handle the problems, and we'll even answer a few of those questions tonight if you call them in. But we also need to know what we ought to be doing out there that nurtures emotional well-being in kids, because there's more to parenting than just potty training or grounding your teenager for the rest of their life. So this week, we share 5 things every parent can do, which research says promotes healthy emotional development in kids. You can be a part of tonight's conversation by calling the numbers on your screen right now. Locally, dial 218-788-2844 or call toll-free at 1-877-307-8762. We'll be answering your questions throughout tonight's show. Joining me tonight is Dr. Charles Orsak, staff psychologist for Northwood Children's Services, where he conducts psychological evaluations with children and adolescents from across Minnesota for the Diagnostic and Assessment Center. Thanks for being here tonight, Charlie.
It's great to be here.
Now, there are a ton of books out there about parenting, and there are a ton of people out there willing to offer parents advice on how to be a good parent. And if you're a parent out there, how do you sift through all of that stuff, and how do you figure out which is the stuff I ought to be paying attention to and which is maybe a little on the fringes?
Well, I think that we need to appreciate how important it is for us to sort of empower parents. I think that a lot of the advice that we give as psychologists, some of it isn't a good fit. Sometimes it's a quick fix approach. Sometimes it's too complicated. Sometimes it's it just doesn't fit that child. So you have to know your child. And there are some things, though, that work with most every kid, that nurture development. And those are the things I like to focus on with parents, is regardless of whether you have a child that has a difficult temperament and has special needs, or a child that has a typical temperament, and those kids are pretty easy to parent. There are things that everyone can do, simple, straightforward ideas that are necessary for kids. They may not be sufficient, but they're necessary to help kids move along all throughout their development to what we want: secure, independent adolescents.
And people have been doing this job of parenthood long
Absolutely.
Before we were writing books on parenting.
Absolutely.
And they were actually producing pretty okay kids who turned into pretty okay
They seem
adults.
to do just fine.
They seem to do just fine with that.
Well, part of it is we're wired for this. I mean, there's this evolutionary imperative to parent. I mean, there's this wonderful neurohormone called oxytocin that is the neurotransmitter, the neurohormone that encourages attachment. It's that great feeling you get when a baby smiles at you and you smile back. And so some of this is pre-programmed. I really encourage parents to follow their instincts and to actually have a healthy skepticism for all these books.
So number one, trust what you know about your own child. And
Right.
if you don't feel like you're being listened to by your child's pediatrician or by a helping
Right.
professional, go to somebody who, keep looking around until you can find
Right.
somebody who will listen to you.
Ask questions. I appreciate, when I work with parents, healthy skepticism, I call it, which is, show me, tell me, convince me why this is a good idea. I mean, we give ideas that sometimes turn out to not be true. I mean, a few years ago, there was the idea that you shouldn't pick up a crying baby because we would spoil them. Now we know that that's very important to be responsive. It's that oxytocin again saying, I should do it. So you have to be a little bit, you need to ask questions and answer for yourself. Do I think this will work?
And if somebody's also giving you advice, they should have a rationale for for the advice that they're giving you. And if they can't explain that rationale, that would be like a great time for you to be maybe a little skeptical about some of the advice that you're.
Said, questions are good.
Questions are good.
We want empowered parents. We don't want parents that feel that that this is so complicated, that this is so difficult that that you have to have a PhD to be a parent. You don't.
Okay, so we have 5 tips and a short show. So we're going to get to
tip
number 1. And tip number 1, we even have a graphic for you tonight, is kind of Dr. Orsak's version of the Nike slogan, just do it, only your number 1 tip is just be there.
Be there. And the essence of this is to be predictable, responsive, and in tune with your kids throughout development. Now, it's different if you have a 2-month-old than if you have an 18-year-old. But the same idea applies, is that by being predictable and being responsive and in tune, that you develop these foundations. You develop those neural connections. It's all about repetition and neural connections. Foundations such as emotional self-regulation, self-control, the ability to share and be reciprocal in relationships. Those start from day 1. But if you don't have those things, you can't be this independent, happy, healthy 18-year-old that that leaves for college. So you got to start early, and you can just keep that in mind. Be predictable, be responsive. So. And
by being there, we don't mean being there with your iPad, in tune more with your iPad or your iPhone than you are with.
No, you're not there. You're not there hovering like a helicopter.
Right.
In fact, you don't want it. Being in tune with the teenagers is different. Being in tune with them is making sure they feel listened to. You do a lot less talking with a teenager than you do with a younger child. It's the idea that you're there, though. You're listening. You're a part of their life. So.
And being predictable.
Being predictable is very important.
Key. Because what happens with a kid when they are living in a household where there's a lot of unpredictability?
Well, a lot of unpredictability leads to insecurity. And so insecure kids are afraid to explore. They're afraid to take chances. They tend to either get too close to people or keep people away, and so they have trouble in relationships throughout their life. So it's this predictability. We want people, we're talking about very young children, we want them to learn that people are good things. That when you reach out and you cry, you do something, people respond, they take care of you. If that's not the initial message, then you might carry that message with you for a long time. That you can't trust people, they're not reliable. So
consistency.
Yes.
Tip number 2 is to talk and read, and then talk and read some more.
That's right. I mean, if you look at it, it's amazing. If you look at some statistics, if you look at what I'd call a privileged family with lots of advantages, the words per hour that are spoken to those children are almost twice or more than twice a family that has a harder time getting through life. So sometimes it's the sheer quantity of verbal stimulation, and language is everything. And so there's language that has to do with social communication and getting along with people. There's emotional language. There's the language of problem solving. So the emphasis on language development is very important, but it's not that complicated. I mean, it's about asking questions, it's about talking, it's about engaging in imaginative play with your kids. And it's about turning off that stuff, that
all the
electronic stuff, because you learn certain kinds of language from a computer program. You can learn definitions and vocabulary, but you can't learn the language of talking to people. You can't learn imagination that way.
You can't learn how conversation works.
Right, how conversation works, how you express your feelings, how other people respond. So you need practice to do that. And so that's very important. In terms of reading, I emphasize with people that reading should focus on 2 things. Reading should be fun. And the other thing is that when you're reading with your kids, which you should do every night, it's been shown that reading every night to your kids, just your developmental outcomes are better. If you read every night, you're also teaching some soft learning skills, which is sitting still, listening, and learning is fun. Words are fun, books are fun. So I encourage parents to work on the soft skills and the fun side, and teachers will take care of some of the hard skills when they get to preschool and kindergarten.
Yeah, we're not necessarily talking about you need to go out and buy the make your child a genius,
Nope.
flashcards. That's not the kind of reading that we're talking about.
That's exactly the opposite of what I would recommend. Flashcards, my experience, are deadly in terms of taking the fun out. I'm not a reading expert, but what I understand is that kids that come prepared with language-wise and a love of learning and persistence, and they're absent any learning problems, learning disabilities, they learn how to read just fine. And your reading level in kindergarten doesn't necessarily predict where you're going to be in third grade. There's a lot of changes in development in that age. But for parents, I think it's not a job. I think this is one of the areas where we make it a job, when it should be fun. And it's not that, read with your kids.
So that should be something that you look forward to doing, not that is on your list of things to check off during your day.
One of the things that research shows is really helpful for development is the more people eat together, just having dinner, because it's conversation, it's interaction. Those are the simple things you can do.
Talk a little bit about how you teach kids to do things, because one of the things you talked about was that there's all kinds of, there's like a language for problem solving, there's a language for forming relationships, there's a language for feelings, and I think that how should parents be, or what are some tips about how parents can help kids learn to identify feelings?
Well, this is where doing some reading in terms of reasonable expectations for kids is important, because what you want to do with the 3-year-old in language of emotion is different than a teenager. But a lot of it has to do with role modeling. They watch you, and so little kids watch. It's often the case that we should care more not what we say to kids, but what they see us do. And so the idea of problem solving, of talking about emotions with them, helping them, so some of the first steps are just helping them have a feeling inside, and then you put a word to it. And so this feeling is sad, this feeling is angry, this feeling is this. And you say, well, what can you do then when that happens? So just very simple things like that. Problem solving is the same situation. You have to understand sort of the cognitive development of kids. Little kids can't do complicated abstract reasoning, but they can do concrete reasoning, some of the if-then. And so it's a matter of taking the time to recognize teaching moments and to use them and to talk out loud and to role model.
So talk a little bit about how this all shifts once kids get to be teenagers, because often then there are a lot of teenagers who don't even, they don't want to talk with their parents, or they act like they don't want to talk with their parents. Or it's like, why does my mother always have to ask me, how was my day? Why does she do that?
I get that question so often. The answer to that question, but I tell the kids, I tell them because she's worried about you, and so the example I give to the kids, she loves you, she's worried about you,
she cares.
And I say, so what do worried adults do when you don't answer their questions? Do they stop, or do they ask more questions?
Yeah.
So it's in your best interest to talk to your mother or your father, and it's amazing that the length of conversation, a minute or two, is usually enough. But I think what you have to do is you can't wait until the kid is 13 and you need to talk to them about, well, I think you're hanging out with the wrong group of kids. It's a habit of talking. So you have dinner together. Your kid is used to you talking to you, of this conversation, this interchange. It's a habit. So I think it basically boils down to building a habit of communicating. Now, how you do it is going to change with a teenager. You do a lot more listening and a lot more questioning, a lot less sort of directive. I think you should do this. I mean, it's like collaborative problem solving. Yep. It's like love and logic. I mean, you say, let's think this thing through together. But again, it doesn't have to be this long, drawn-out affair. Some of those conversations can be really quite short and productive.
So one of the things that you're saying then is developing sort of a family pattern of doing things early on. That also kind of gets back to that whole notion of predictability and consistency. This is what we do in my family. We sit around the table and we have a conversation, and everybody has this conversation, and that's kind of how
so I like the idea of developing self-control is very important. And so you have to learn self-control at different stages of your life. And by the time you're an adolescent, what we hope is kids have just don't incorporate like what's in it for me, what are the consequences of my choices, but there's a moral dimension to it. There's a future dimension to it, like what does this mean in my future? But you have to start young, because you can't teach that. Don't wait until you're 15 to say, I'm going to teach you problem solving. You need to, for me, or self-control and problem solving, there's a lot of things in common there, but you got to start with these themes early. Self-control is a very important one.
And that actually starts in the beginning, right when they're infants.
Absolutely.
When you're bringing them home, it just looks very different.
Right. Well, self-control. The first step in self-control is learning to calm down, but you first rely on other people to do that for you.
And would you think about it when you think about like what do teenagers sometimes have difficulty doing? Calming down. So it's like, boy, if you're not starting that early on, you kind of have you have no hope against the hormones once they get to be teenagers. Then
yeah, it's hopeless. No, I'm just kidding. But it's better to start early. It's a long-term process. If you look at how people learn, I mean, like Malcolm Gladwell says, you need 10,000 trials to learn something.
In fact, that is tip number 3.
Yes.
Is to start early.
Start early.
Start early, because life skills are hard.
Yeah.
They're hard to learn, and you need repeated trials of this.
Right. And so
10,000
trials that's to become an expert. You don't necessarily need 10,000 trials to just get good at something. But the point is 2 points. One is it takes lots of trials, which means there's room for error. Every trial doesn't have to go well. And that kids learn better, we all learn better, based on praise and positive responses to our behavior. But we all need negative consequences too. So as a rough guide, I kind of talk to parents of keeping this 3-to-1 ratio. So for every 3 positive things that you say or you do or you respond to your child's behavior, there can be 1 negative one. That's actually when the negative consequences work the best, is when they're in the context of these positive things. So it has to be this kind of positive approach really grows behaviors very well.
So what you're saying then is that you can't have a situation where the only word coming out of your mouth all day is no. No, don't do that. Don't do that. That was wrong. Why'd you do that? No, no, no.
Right, exactly. But the other thing that you don't want to do is every answer is yes, 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 because you want to have the moderation in all things, like my grandmother used to say, moderation in all things. And so you want to emphasize positive, but we all need negative consequences, because you don't want kids, if all they get is positive things, then they're kids that when they grow up, they don't think they can do anything wrong. And if all kids hear is no, they're kids that think they can't do anything right. So you want kids in the middle. And what that quality that we try to get through that process we call self-efficacy. Not necessarily self-esteem, but this idea that when I do something, it has an effect on the world. But you don't get that by getting trophies. You get that by achieving, by making mistakes and overcoming things.
So how does that work? Because you just said something really interesting, which is like you don't get that from getting trophies. And we have this culture right now, the participation trophy culture, which I will go on record just to say that drives me nuts when kids are getting a trophy just for showing up, and they're doing this all over the place. And so that to me sort of reeks a little bit of the everybody, we'll just say yes to everything.
Right. Yeah, taken too far, anything you can get out of balance. And so it needs to just be balanced by other experiences where you don't succeed. Not succeeding is very, very important. And we've sort of lost that.
So
the importance of not succeeding.
Yeah, let's talk, which we call failure. Let's name it. Let's name it. We can name it. We call that failure.
I call it an experiment that didn't work, but that's okay.
But I like the word failure
it's
because
fine.
I think we are phobic nowadays of the concept of failing, which is different than being a failure, right? You know, And so let's talk about why is allowing your child to fail, because we're talking about teaching life skills here and start early on this. So why is teaching, like giving your child the opportunity to fail, so important?
Well, we're getting to number 4 here, because that's the idea of persistence and grit. This idea that we can equip kids with all kinds of knowledge and all kinds of skills, and they can pass tests and get high ACT marks. They can do all those things. But if you don't have persistence and you don't have grit, then you can't put it to action. And what we find is that that quality of persistence is the thing that actually makes the difference. It's more so kids that have persistence do better in college, regardless of their grades in high school and their scores. But you gain persistence by overcoming problems. I mean, that's the essence of grit.
By failing and then coming back and trying again.
And so it's not about allowing your kids to, it's about not being afraid and teaching your kids not to be afraid of making mistakes and not ever getting everything correct. And so that, and then but the full circle part of that is what can we learn? So that's why I like it. They're all a bunch of, life's a series of experiments. And it's kind of like, what did we learn about this approach? It didn't work. And so it's the idea of not being afraid of mistakes and using them as teaching moments. And this is where I think it can be really helpful for parents to role model, because we all make mistakes, we all have problems, and to discuss how you overcome those. Like you say, I got a bad job performance review from my boss today, and it really hurt my feelings, but what am I going to do about it? How am I going to kind of push on through this thing? Because you're right, I think we become kind of afraid of making mistakes, and that's a very important part of learning, is to just say, okay, you made a mistake. It's how the parent responds, by the way.
Well, I think too that if you have a kid or a person who's so afraid to make a mistake, their world becomes smaller and smaller and smaller, because they're afraid to try new things. What if I'm not good at it? What if I fail at this? Rather than it's like, gosh, well, I don't think your world is, most of the time the things that kids want to try is not going to be life-threatening, and so it's worth the risk. Let's see if you're good at this.
And I think it's an illusion that we can protect our kids from mistakes. It's sort of like, it's how to use it to your advantage to do that.
So true grit. Not just a great movie.
Just not a great, it's a great movie, but also a good idea.
Yeah. And the 5th tip, which is, I love this tip, which is play, laugh, and forgive, and do a lot of it. Right.
And the term that I've taken this from other psychologists.
You've borrowed it.
I borrowed it.
It's not original.
Yeah, Russell Barkley. It's practice forgiveness. I like that term, which is you practice forgiveness for yourself and you practice forgiveness for your kids, because you're doing the best you can. Everybody's doing the best they can, and unless you can kind of let go, move on, then you don't learn anything. And the other thing is playing with your kids, making things fun is very important. I think we spend too much time sometimes focused on achieving things. But you learn a lot through play. If your kids will want to hang out with you and talk to you if you're fun. Doesn't mean you have to be fun all the time. But just focusing on those kind of really the more lighthearted parts of life. But I think the forgiveness piece, and parents need to learn to forgive themselves, that things won't always go right. Your kids will make mistakes.
And you'll make mistakes.
And you make mistakes, yeah.
And you'll do some bonehead parenting thing, and then we kind of want you to do what we want kids to do, which is to say to yourself, what did I learn from this? Right,
and I think I work with a lot of parents that are demoralized, and I think that part of it is getting back to the beginning, is this culture that there's always a book out there, there's always a right thing you should have done. But I don't believe that, frankly. I mean, there are a lot of good books, don't get me wrong, but
there's probably not one.
But there's a lot of good common sense and a lot of good parents. My grandma Rico raised a whole bunch of kids, and she didn't have any books because she could hardly read English.
We're getting to the wrap up. So what would Grandma Rico say is the advice to all the parents out there?
The advice?
Yeah.
Oh, well, she would say something like, don't forget to love them. And because she was from Italy, don't forget to feed them. That would be the sixth. We would have a sixth rule here, a sixth tip. But feed them. And she would say, it's kind of like common sense. Does it make sense to do this with it? Does it make sense to just give your kids praise all the time and not to hold them accountable? No, it doesn't really make sense, does it, when you stop and think about it? So it's kind of love them, feed them, and common sense.
Those are wonderful words, and we have come to an end of another show. And maybe one of the things that I would add, if there was a sixth tip out there, I would say take care of yourself, because it is a dang hard job parenting kids. Thanks so much for joining the discussion this week. And don't forget to visit us on the web at speakyourmindonline.org, where you can find a schedule of our topics and resource links. Join us again next week when we'll talk about the use of medications in treating mental illness. I'm Dr. Carolyn Phelps. Thanks for watching, and good night.